call this meeting to order. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will our attorney, who is acting as our clerk this evening, read the statement, please?
Yes. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 3rd, 2019, and was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7.
Roll call?
Councilman Ooms?
Absent.
Absent. Councilman Serreri?
Here.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Here.
Councilmember Alberger?
Here.
Council President Murphy?
Here. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That sounded good. That sounded real good.
This evening, we have a couple presentations. Our first one is our Recreation Board. So if Michelle Downtain would like to step forward with some of the Rec Board members, please.
Is she here?
Yes. Sunshine? Do you need the light on?
Yeah, can everybody see the wall?
No, I'm not sure. Can the camera pick that up? Okay. Or do you want the light off a little?
We should turn it down.
Okay. It's right behind that side.
So thank you for having us. I'm Denise Urbaniak. I'm the chairperson of the Board of Recreation. I have Carol Case and Kelly Weller here with us tonight. And we just wanted to give everyone an idea of some of the things that the Board of Rec has been doing ongoing and things that are coming up, and just give you a taste of some of the things that we've had new and some old, some ongoing. So, first of all, just really quickly, some of our goals is just to promote the assets that we have here in our town. We're in a unique situation with recreation and the Appalachian Trail and all, so we really do try to promote what we have. Our goal is always low-cost or no-cost programs for town residents. We really try to work with the other committees, the other boards, the civic organizations in town, so that we can just provide better services and events for everyone. Overall, we just want a better community for all. And we're always seeking input from the residents and trying to listen to what they have to say, what they want to see in the town, some of the different events or programs. And we welcome the public to every one of our board meetings, and we welcome new ideas, and we'd love to work with people to develop them. And this is kind of just a chronological what goes on throughout the year that we currently do throughout the year. So a couple of years ago, we started a 5K snowshoe. Mountain Creek is very generous with their time and their manpower to help us set it up and host it for us. They give us lift tickets to get everyone to the top, map out the course, provide patrol for us, and it's grown every year. As you can see, people love to wear their Viking garb and get out there, and believe it or not, some people will even run in the snowshoes. We participate in Earth Fest. We're there every year. This year, we try to do some type of craft that promotes reusing material or a nature theme. So this year, we painted rocks that we got from our backyards. Oh, wait, went the wrong way. It's going backwards now. Okay, so okay. This year, this was a huge success. This was the first year we started a pavement to pinwheel program. Our feeling was that there was people out in our town that wanted to hike and wanted to get out there, but for various reasons didn't. So we created this 6-week program. We did it twice a week. And when we started it, I said to Michelle, you know, if we get 10 people, I'm going to be happy. And the first night we had close to 60 people. So at the end of the program, we still had, the whole idea was it would get more, progressively more difficult so we could make our way to the top of Pinwheel Vista. We did lose some people, not literally. Some people did too. No rescues, no injuries. 6 weeks, 12 hikes. The only one that fell was me. But by the end, we had, on Tuesday evening, we had 33 people. On this past Saturday, we had 17. So it was just a phenomenal program. And we do help with the PAL with their Couch to 5K program and with the fundraiser. Again, for whatever reason, this year, it seems like every event we've held in the rain. So, but we're still successful. People were still out there in their ponchos and running. And Memorial Day Parade, we provide flags for the spectators along the route. We purchase them. We have volunteers there that day handing the flags out along the way. And Vernon Day, we're very instrumental with helping Jeannie Buffalino and the PAL run Vernon Day. We're there to set up all the vendors and make sure that runs smoothly, and we're there throughout the day, checking with everyone, making sure it's running, and we help with the cleanup afterwards. Trails of Vernon Challenge is, what is this, the 4th or 5th year? 4th year. Michelle's come up with new and innovative ways every year to get people out there and try the different trails in Vernon. I think the first year was a photo contest that people really enjoyed. Sidewalk Art Show. This one was the great thing about Rec Board is we have an idea and we all work together to figure out how to make it work. We come up with ideas and Michelle is like our little engine who could. She just figures out how to make it work. So we came up with this, and I think within 4 weeks we had this planned and ready to go. And this, at Maple Grange, we sectioned off 3-foot sections of the sidewalk, and people of all ages came out and drew their artwork within the framework there, and some were much more talented than Carolyn and I. We also encouraged people from the community to bring their own artwork, and the art committee came out, and we have some of that, and we even had a little girl bring her own painting that she made for her mommy. This year, we also were able to bring 3 different movie nights over the summer, and with the refreshments and all that were available. Trunk or treat we help with every year, which we outgrew the original Maple Grange and had to relocate to the school parking lots. Michelle works really hard to put together these displays for Sussex County Day, and then we try to get out there and help her and promote our town. Turkey trot. We decided, why should our residents be going to other towns to participate in a turkey trot run? So Kelly Weller came up with the idea, pulled it together, and it's grown every year. We have people who come out that morning, even when it's 17 degrees outside, and you're freezing, and it has grown every year. And last, we helped with the tree lighting ceremony. This year was a Whoville theme, and it all came together. It was a lot of hard work on everybody's part, and the one thing about our rec board is we do love to dress up. So upcoming events that we are trying to plan and pull off is trips to see a Broadway show or some other type of show or an event, a butterfly release, and a hike, bike, and kite day. And thank you. Thank you for your time.
If you could just put the lights on in the meantime. And And the next presentation we'll have, if Greg Carter could please come forward with Little League.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having us here this evening, Mayor Council. We appreciate the time. If we could probably also get the lights, we'd greatly appreciate that. Cool. Thank you. As you know, Vernon Baseball has been around for many years. Just like all the other sports, we're here to support one another. We also were coming to support the Maple Grange situation that's going on, so we want to know that we're here to support everyone and go forward. Vernon Little League would take the opportunity to thank the Recreation Board for the use of the Maple Grange Complex this year. Without the Maple Grange Complex this year, we've not been able to have a baseball season. As I'll point out in the next few slides, Vernon Little League has traditionally played in only one played baseball at the Veterans Memorial Park and surrounding schools. Last year we had so many cancellations that we need the opportunity to find a different place to play. And with Michelle helping us out this year, that was great because most of our season would have been lost, if not the entire season. Additionally invested from fundraising, we purchased some new fencing, some pitcher's mounds, bases, and other various equipments that we put down at the Maple Grange Complex. And we use that not only ourselves, but we've also lent it out to softball for opening day, softball games, and the high school to have events. We've heard the repairs are needed at the fields of Maple Grange Complex. With the repairs that are scheduled to be completed, there was also the possibility of putting additional baseball diamonds and softball diamonds on the upper fields. This would allow the children youth sports from Vernon Township ability to have a reason to be outside and playing. And Vernon's traditionally been about recreation. There's not a lot of corporate here. It's more recreation and carefree, as we saw in the last PowerPoint with all the different adventures outside. Going forward, we really need to be able to rely on the use of the fields at the Maple Grange Complex for youth in this town and for all the sports. When we were told the possibility in town, I was thinking of eliminating the ability for organized sports to utilize these fields at the Maple Grange Parks. We knew we had to organize and get to the council the information and tools you need to help make a great decision. We know and understand the struggles of youth in America, and the youth of our town of Little Vernon need to face and stay off the drugs and stay out of having problems where they end up in parks where they're hanging out and doing things that they shouldn't. As parents, coaches, volunteers of the town, we want to keep the kids interested in sports. We want to keep Veterans Memorial Park open. We want to keep Maple Grange Park open. And to do that, we need the support of the council. So we figured we'd best thing to come in on Recreation Day and be a part of this. As I mentioned earlier, in the next few slides will show the reason these fields need to be fixed and to make available for everyone, as well as you see the additional fields in town that will need some services. So, Veterans Memorial Park was constructed in the late 70s, early 80s. We moved to this complex after we split ways with the Walk-Hill Baseball Organization, which was played where the current site of McAfee Hardware is. Many of the members behind me in this room have played Little League here in this town. Even some, and you see all the little kids here, they've been part of this, and they love it. It's baseball, football, soccer, lacrosse. It's all one big happy family. We all get along, even though we all joke together. Aside from the Maple Grange complex, the complex the Veterans Memorial Park was the last complex to ever be built in the town. 269 players are enrolled in the Little League this year. That number breaks down to 34 teams, over 8 divisions ranging from kickball to senior division. Those 34 teams play roughly 408 games from March to the end of June. It's a lot of games to get in, especially when we have days like today where you're seeing the weather, which is not conducive to baseball. Again, luckily we did have the Maple Grange complex to help us out through some of this. And then we have All-Stars. At the completion of the regular season, we begin the All-Star tournaments. These tournaments begin as pool play in which Vernon will host and play teams from outside of Vernon at our facilities at Veterans Memorial Park. Last year, the senior division won the sectional tournament, placing them into the state tournament. With the winning of the sectional tournament, our senior team advanced further than any team that has ever been in Vernon Little League before. It was a great accomplishment. It was wonderful. It was very exciting. They were recognized at Minor Stadium. It was incredible. By winning the tournament, we were honored to have the opportunity to host sectionals here in Vernon for next year, for this 2019 season. This would bring teams from all over the state to our complex, bringing extra revenue and people traveling through the town, traveling through all the surrounding areas to see how beautiful Vernon is, to shop at our local businesses, to shop at or go to dine at our various restaurants, stay at hotels, and even enjoy some of the Mountain Creek. So as you can see, there's a benefit to the community. We also have travel baseball. Some players within the Little League organization also participate in travel baseball program. This program offers additional level play that allows players the opportunity to build their skills and go further and better with their skills. This also brings outside teams. We travel as far as an hour away. Teams travel to us as far as an hour away. We would like to host tournaments for this and bring some more revenue in. Our complex can't hold that facility, that type of events. With all the statistics that have been presented, there have been a few downsides to this year, obviously. Some of you have had the opportunity to look at the fields. Well, we were unable to host a senior division tournament this year with the current state of our fields. They're incapable of holding it with the lack of lighting, the lack of drainage on our field systems, and obviously with the weather conditions we're having, we're not having the ability to play. Senior divisions canceled or moved 8 games. Majors divisions canceled and moved 8 games. Minors divisions have moved or canceled 9 games. Travel teams across all levels have moved or canceled 10 games. The total number of games moved or canceled for Vernon Little League this season has been 35 games. Current overview of the park system, you have Bell Field, Senior Field, and Snack Bar Field. Upgrades that do need to be done throughout the years, and we're looking to do this more of a 5-year plan and get the talks open so that we can do stuff like this. We need new infield clay, grass cut and repaired, repair pitchers' mounts to prevent injuries, safety netting along the roadway to prevent foul balls from striking cars, repair and place fencing around the fields, lighting, secure and level all the bleachers, electricity service at the baselines for tournament season, drainage in the parking lot, and new dugouts. This is Bell Field. This picture was actually taken on a day it had not rained. It had been over 24 hours since we had seen rain, and the temperature was about 90 degrees outside with wind. And there's just no drainage, nowhere for the water to go. That's down the first baseline. That's second base. And again, that's the overview. This was taken on another day when it had just rained. Upgrades needed at Snack Bar Field. New infield clay, drainage improvements, grass cut, grass lips removed. Build new pitcher's mound, safety netting along the roadside to prevent foul balls. If anybody has seen that going down the road or traveled down those times, foul balls do travel out into the lane of traffic sometimes. Repair fencing where it's needed, secure and level all the bleachers. We'd like to put a new scoreboard and electric for hosting tournaments. It would make it nice for the kids that are playing here. They'd like to see their scores on the board. Drainage in the parking lot and new dugouts. This is Snack Bar Field. Again, it runs almost like a river throughout the middle of the field, as you can see. And without the proper drainage and the proper leveling of the field and mounting of the field, a lot of our clay does wash out into the parking lot in this field. Upgrades needed Senior Field, new infield clay. Again, the grass, it's the same stuff. The pitcher's mound, the netting for to be a little bit safer around both sides of the first base and third base lines. That's for the fans more so, only because the foul balls come out of there at a higher rate of speed and they're coming out quicker than the little kids are hitting. So we felt that that was a safety issue there to have that put up. Improve existing lighting for safety. This field is the only field that does get lighting. Men's softball does play under it, but that field needs to have a few of them different positioned and upgraded. And again, a scoreboard and electronic sign for hosting tournaments. The current lighting. It was set up to be basically for football. This was an all-purpose field back in the day. Many people played the midgets football here, played baseball throughout the season. So the lighting was acceptable to them. It was how it worked for them. Currently, it doesn't work. This one field to the left here has no lighting for games. Safety netting, I mentioned before, along the roadside there. We would like to get some netting just to prevent foul balls coming across. And these are proposed dugouts that we'd like to build up that. A lot of people travel through the center of town. They travel through Vernon Crossing Road when it's not closed out for flooding. We realized maybe we should spruce it up a little. It is Veterans Park. It is a nice area to be. And most people in this room probably had children that played there at one point in their time or played there themselves. So a lot of this we're trying to get through outside donations, and we are doing that, but we also want to say it's twofold. We would like to get some help down the road, and we'd like to open up that conversation to work with whoever from the council would love to be appointed to assist with us and meet with us. And secondly, thanking the ability for Michelle to go to Maple Grange. Maple Grange was a huge benefit to us this year. Again, we do not have a season. All these kids probably would be in jeopardy of never playing ball this year, and we might have had to cancel everything out for them. So we ask that you possibly find someone to work with us and that you look in favor of supporting the Maple Grange complex. And thank you. That's all I really have.
Before you step away, we have the letter that you wrote, and I'm not sure about the rest of the council members, but I would think they would have, some similar questions. But out of these items that were needed, because I met you down at the field, and you need clay.
It's desperate.
Yeah. But what items on this list do you desperately need?
Clay would start us off in the right direction. What we would have to do is shut Bell down for about a week to get that prepped and ready.
But with the rain, I don't think that's a problem.
We might be able to work, but to get it down to the compaction rate. So if we could get that truck here and we could get that dirt or clay here, that would be a big help. Snack bar and senior field also as well, because what we want to do is kind of mound it out for the rest of the season to get play going so the drainage comes off the fields. And then moving forward, the pitcher's mounds, the nettings, and the lighting. Of course, we would always love to have the lighting down there because it extends our season. And the more we're down at Veterans Memorial Park, the more that opens up Maple Grange for other things.
Well, and you said at the snack bar, you're looking to redo the snack bar?
We would like to redo the snack bar, and
Do
that's
you,
big
is that
one.
open all the time? I mean, it's been years since I've had to.
This year? No, unfortunately. This gentleman can speak on behalf of the snack bar. This is Brett Chornerbrook. He's the one who heads up that part of the committee.
It hasn't been open basically because of the weather. Obviously, we haven't been on the field. We've been going to Maple Grange. Part of the issue there, though, it really isn't sanitary, to be honest with you. I mean, you go to the bathrooms, you could see there's no sheetrock on there. There might be some critters running around in there. So
That's been an issue, I think, for several years.
I mean, obviously, it's an issue because of where it's located, the type of atmosphere that's around it. But, I think if we get it right, we can alleviate some of those problems.
So if you were looking at, let's just say the clay and for the two, you're saying those two fields, and the renovation of the snack bar, do you have any idea what you're speaking about monetarily?
Roughly, the clay at every field's about $5,000 to $6,000. Bellfield's a little bit less because we have less clay needs because it's grassy in the field. The other ones would be a little bit more, but if you average it about $5,000 to $6,000 per field. So we're looking $15,000 to $18,000 for clay, plus the trucking to get it up here, which I'm sure the mayor and everyone said they could provide DPW trucks if they're not out busy doing potholes. The renovation of the snack bar, we have an architect that's working on that right now, currently. He's going to come back with some different things, because one of the options we had was to go up a second level if permits were allowed, and that could be done there. He's researching that. So we could take all our storage and actually put all our storage there and get it out of different facilities and save the league a little bit more money, so we could put a little bit more back into the league and the community. Because not only do we put out the baseball season, we also do scholarships for people. This year we awarded 4 scholarships for kids in sports. So we try and act like a benevolent association going backwards as well. So we do a lot of different things. But I could sit down and certainly get that with him probably in the next week or so and bring it to you for sure.
Does everybody get to play?
Everybody plays, yes.
Any of the council members have any questions?
I have a question. You mentioned outside donations. Is that something you're working on now? You already have numbers, or something that you're hoping to do going forward, like corporate sponsors, private sponsors? Are we having big sales?
We are working on a bunch of different things. Honda puts out a grant at the beginning of the year. We're going to try and apply for that one again. I know Yankee Stadium and the Mets both do it, although I don't know if I could go to the Mets. That's a whole different thing, but maybe he could. They do grant programs where they will assist little leagues that are in need, such as ours. I just found about this yesterday. They did another field for someone.
And that's matching, or they'll just hand you?
They'll hand over some cash. Sometimes
Okay.
they send out their grounds crew and actually put down the material for you, which is really cool. It's really neat. Scott's Green Lawn, they put out a thing last year. They awarded, I think, 5 to different facilities. Matter of fact, the closest one was in upstate New York, and they gave them about $25,000. So we are researching that. We hold fundraisers. We do golf outings, raffles, everything. So we're trying to bring the revenue in. With that revenue this year, we ended up having to buy stuff to go to Maple Grange, which was a godsend, because moving that little brown mound you saw in there, it probably weighs about 400 or 500 pounds. It's not very fun to carry it on and off the field. So we did buy a new mound and fencing, which made great for the state tournaments for high school too. They do some of the time. So
Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, and I think that what we did have is, in our original budget, we had a substantial amount of money. I think it was like $627,000 or something for
It was
lights.
for the lights, too,
It was for
right?
the
yeah, lights were in there. I was looking at that, and there could be some different things. They do offer, and I know nobody in government ever likes this, a payment plan where you can do it over 30 years. But that may be the option. That's something to make it happen.
And that was something we had to take out, because we had,
Yeah.
looking at $800,000 at Maple Grange.
Sure.
some odd thousand there. We also had to take out 100,000 for a band shell, which actually Economic Development suggested doing a 501(c), trying to get donations for that, because, you know, with our situation with what we're still going through with Mountain Creek, I think we're close to some type of a settlement, but that's a big burden that is on our backs. It's on the taxpayers of Vernon. So this isn't about cutting out sports, cutting out fields. This is about the survival of this town. And I'm not quite sure if everybody's aware of the tax increase that we're all facing this year without money being expended in fields. Because between the Board of Ed at nearly $200 and at ours at $80, I'm not sure if the county has any increase. You know, on a home that's assessed at $215,000, you're looking at close to a $300 tax increase on your property taxes. And that has nothing to do with the revaluation that's going on. That's just property taxes. Next year, from what I understand, the Board of Ed will be even worse because of what's going on with the cuts in the state funding. So I just want to make sure that since everyone is here, when you see your tax bills come, this is just a regular bill from our property taxes just to keep our heads above water. So cuts had to be made in order to keep people in their homes because it's, you know, it's bad. I mean, you could see, I'm sure you see in your neighborhoods, all the empty homes. You know, thankfully, a lot of them are being refurbished to help the town, but it's, you know, it's been rough for a lot of people lately. What I do have a question though. Just so you also know, it was today, I guess I got a call around 3 p.m. that the state just approved our budget, you know, our municipal budget for it to be voted on, because we had not had an approval from the state until today. And what I'm wondering is there any money allocated in the budget, in rec, for Little League, for these items, or is there
Currently,
nothing?
no.
Excuse me?
Currently, no.
So, and I voted against the budget. There were some things in the budget that I didn't agree with. One of them was adding, and I'll say a part-time position, actually into the finance department. Is that money still there in the finance department?
It is.
I'd like to see that money come out from that part-time person, I think it was $15,000, and earmark it for recreation for Little League, for the clay. You know. We have our auditors here tonight. We have a resolution on the agenda to make an adjustment in our budget before we vote on it. And so if the public was being informed of some council members not agreeing on some things like the park, a lot of this had to do with the funding that we're funding Mountain Creek. You know, that's $28 million. And like I said, we're just trying to make sure that we get payments every year so we can keep our head above water. We can all stay in our homes. But as far as, I was against hiring more employees. We're all working harder. You know, everybody has to pitch in and do more. I'm sure, you know, you're all working very hard too. But does our auditor have a problem? Are we able to do that? And can we amend that resolution if the council agrees to move? Right. Well, what I'm saying is the budget is on the agenda for adoption tonight.
Yes, and if you introduce an amendment and it gets necessary votes, then that would be for the next adoption.
And would the proper place to put it would be into recreation? Would it be into recreation?
If you're doing capital projects, it would be into the capital improvement fund.
Right, but it could be earmarked for recreation for that.
It wouldn't.
It
wouldn't really be done that way.
Well, however it would be done.
For capital improvement fund, so you would eventually be able to take it out of the capital improvement fund.
I mean, but that's where I'd like to see it, because like I said, I think I made it clear in many of our meetings. Some of our departments, you know, they're staffed, and like I said, everybody has to, you know, maybe answer the phone. It's not, there's many departments. Our building department lost their part-time person. You know, so we're looking at all of our departments pretty much have just about 3 full-time employees or 2 full-time, 1 part-time. part-time. You know, Michelle's by herself in the rec, which is why she has the rec board. But what are the council members, what are the
Yeah, I'm
comments?
good with it.
You're good with it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to amend that resolution. You
Yeah,
let
I think
us
the
know how to
appropriate
do it.
course of action would be a motion to amend the budget to take the, I believe it's $15,000 dedicated to an assistant in the finance department, and have that moved to either the recreation or capital fund to be earmarked for the ball fields. Would that be correct, Auditor? Okay.
That's the amount right there.
It's $15,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call? Council member, hang on one second. Don't usually do this. Councilperson Ohms is absent. Councilperson Sierra?
Yes.
Councilperson Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilperson Alberger?
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy?
Yes.
Okay. The amendment to the budget passes.
So as far as, and it, you know, the snack bar, and I'm just throwing this out there. When you have an architect working on it, you have any local people that, you know, contractors? that have-
Volunteers?
Yeah, most of it's.
You don't want me using a hammer.
Yeah, no, a lot of the parents, a lot of the coaches, a lot of staff, we would also be a part of this. I know the mayor said he can certainly help us out with getting whatever permits, you know, get us in the right direction, help us out with the salary going. But after that, yeah, we do have a bunch of people that we could work and build, as long as it fit within what we discussed, if there's an issue with the property type of, you guys on us putting something on it, we can work all those details out. And like I said, we're trying to really work with this one contractor, there's a lot of different vendors, so basically we give them a lot of support for sponsors, like $5, $6, $7, $10 down the road. It might be a lot of material just in that way as well. So we are working in pretty hard. We just sent a request in for some more information. We sent it back to them, so hopefully we'll have some answers next.
And I did ask you for the application for your banners that are out there,
I have,
because I
yes.
do know of some people that I could pass that along to.
I appreciate that. Thank
There
you.
are a lot of realtors out there that like to advertise. And
We'll
it's-
all the way around the state. That's absolutely
So-
right. Thank you
Just
very
building
much.
on that though, also, we have a lot of local people that work, like landscapers and stuff like that, that they'd be willing to donate some of their time and effort also to help us out. So that could help us out a lot.
And you also said that the fencing on the bottom is,
There's some spots where the fence is broken, there's some spots where it's pulled up. And as we pointed out, a lot of times the DPW can take care of some of it, but eventually it's gonna need a full repair. And that. So little by little, and that's why we kind of want to start the progress and get this to like a 5-6 year plan and work with someone from the council kind of, and Michelle to figure it all out and lay the plan out, see where it's best going to fit.
I think what the plan was once Maple Grange went in, I know Little League opted to stay at Vernon Crossing, and there was supposed to be more work done to that field back then, and it never really amounted to
Times
anything.
become tough, we understand that, but, you know, we just want to keep it going and, you know, keep it nice. And again, a lot of people drive right by and see it, and it would look great, it's a showcase, it's where the Veterans Memorial Park is, it's where Memorial Day parades normally end every year. And I get the whole state permit thing, I'm from the fire department, so I get that. You know, so you have hundreds of people there all the time, and when we have these tournaments, you'll see hundreds of thousands of people frequenting those fields, it's gonna be beautiful. I think it can be beautiful, and with the help of doing with the, if that works out with Maple Grange, that's another bonus added, because days like today, we're stuck out playing ball. So, that's just for safety purposes. We run the kids out there, but we don't get very home.
Would the clay help with the drainage?
Yes, absolutely. Right now, we're about 3 to 4 inches down in every field. So like, if you look at Belfield, the grass is up here, the dirt's down here, so there's no way
Yeah,
to
like-
So we gotta kind of get above it so it comes off, and then we can rake it out, dry it out faster. And I guess we can talk about the DPW work they do down there. They are tireless down there. They are working down there. But even it gets too much for them because the grass is too wet, so they can't cut. So, you know, once it all works itself out, the drainage things go along the way, and the whole thing is complete, I think it'll look beautiful, and it'll be a wonderful place to enjoy. And I see the park is almost done, it's almost there, so everything's looking good.
The park, which park?
The little park that's on the side of the.
Oh,
senior
the,
field.
yeah.
Yeah, so it looks good, it's gonna look beautiful.
No, well, except for the Swamp, no, right.
That's all right. The crickets sound nice when we're playing Boston Box.
Does anybody else? have
One more,
If they're looking,
sorry.
if they're looking for a council person to work with them, I would like to volunteer.
Okay. Councilmember Allberger, volunteer.
Appreciate it.
Just a little concerned about liability we might have with the safety netting and the roadway. Kind of concerns me a little bit. That should probably be a priority, I would think.
Don't drive up Vernon Crossing.
Do we block off the road? I mean,
Well, I mean, and that's an issue that actually comes up even by Walnut Ridge.
Right.
Because I know somebody that happened to. So it's, it's pretty much all over. But I know you have some netting.
We do, we're working on it, we're trying to get a little bit more donated to us, we'll see how that goes, but we'll work with Mr. Allberger there, and we'll get it all planned out. Hopefully we'll get it all
So,
done.
but I think Greg mentioned the fencing on the bottom, which was dangerous for the kids.
Yeah, it is a little bit, sometimes it
Yeah.
pops up, we try and move it around to cover it. And again, we haven't been really able to work on the kids that much this year, and look at it, obviously, because they're usually so wet, so. We had a couple dry days, as we hopefully head into All-Star season, we'll get this down there a lot more, fill in little spots, and, we'll take a look, and whatever we can fast and finish it out. Get us through the season, start the next season, looking ahead, we'd love to be a part of the process for the budget next year, to get it best possible, so.
Any other questions? No. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I see the line item that that came out of, since we didn't come in? It's under, okay.
Portion.
Our attorney's just making sure that the money comes out of the right line item, so. Okay, next on our agenda, I'd just like to read a proclamation. Whereas senior citizens are a valuable resource and continue to serve as leaders, mentors, volunteers, and important active members of the community. Whereas the Vernon Township Senior Board has chosen Daniel Kadish as the 2019 Senior Citizen of the Year for his many contributions to this community. Whereas Dan, a well-educated Renaissance man, set a standard for commitment to the public service by his continuous efforts serving the community with his knowledge, experience, leadership, and talents. Whereas Dan has demonstrated in countless ways his dedication to the welfare of others and has earned the respect and affection of the people from all walks of life and all ages. Whereas Vernon Township recognizes the contributions of senior citizens and urges all citizens to show appreciation for the important role they serve in our society. Now therefore be it proclaimed with sincere gratitude and appreciation, Vernon Township proclaims Daniel Kadish, Vernon Township 2019 Senior of the Year. Signed, Harry J. Shortway, Mayor, Township of Vernon.
Comments?
Next, may I have a motion to open for public
Motion.
comments? May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If there's anyone from the public that would like to step forward and have a comment on any agenda items, if you could please keep it to like 3 minutes. Please step forward and just state your name.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hamilton, and I'm a Vernon Township resident and a member of the Vernon Youth Soccer Board. I'm speaking here on behalf of all of the youth sports groups in Vernon Township. We even have a great number of people in the hallway that couldn't even get in. As I'm sure you are aware, we offer numerous programs to the residents of Vernon Township. Many of these programs, such as football, soccer, lacrosse, softball, and baseball, utilize the turf fields at Maple Grange. I cannot even begin to list all the benefits of turf fields provide our youth organizations. Having fields ready and suitable for play at virtually any time of the year allows us to offer our players a safe place to hold practices, trainings, and games. So many times an opposing team has come to Vernon for a game and the first words out of their mouths are, "It is beautiful up here." The second one is usually, "Where are we? We're in the middle of nowhere." But we like that about Vernon. I'm sure every person here could give you a story about how their team went to one of those predominantly wealthy towns for a game and played on a terrible patch of grass behind some building. We are proud of what Vernon has to offer, and we know and appreciate what we have in Maple Grange Park. Some of the people in this room here to support the replacement of the turf fields are not interested in politics, backroom discussions, or social media garbage. That seems to surround every issue our town deals with. We are parents, coaches, volunteers. We spend countless hours sitting around kitchen tables with our fellow board members discussing how we can improve our respective programs, how we can give kids more facilities, more time, more equipment, more training, and more games for less money, less burden on the parents, and less overall aggravation. We are a town that has seen decreases in population and increases in vacant properties. I believe this is starting to change. I believe Vernon Township is at the forefront of becoming a desirable location for parents to raise their children and become an active member of their community. Specifically, I can show you how our Vernon Youth Soccer program has seen an increase in registrations in both our recreation and our travel programs. I truly believe Maple Grange Park is a major factor in why people are relocating to Vernon. People want a town that offers activities for their kids, they want organized sports, and they want to keep their kids busy. How is it even remotely acceptable to have another section of Vernon that has to be taped off to fall into further and further disarray? No one here wants another Camp Sussex situation. Just as we are taking steps forward, we seem to be taking 10 steps back. The people in this room, the coaches on the field, the parents driving their kids to practice, we are taxpayers of Vernon. We get involved and we vote. We are asking to have the bond for the replacement of the turf fields introduced and approved. We want a safe place for our kids to play football, baseball, and lacrosse. We want to see kids kicking soccer balls and swinging softball bats. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rick DeBonta. I live up in Rick DeBonta. I live in Highland Lakes. I'm a Vernon girls lacrosse coach for about 10 years now. And for me to be able to come in here wearing a Vernon shirt and to see all these people coming out for this event is spectacular. The 2019 season was a season that almost wasn't. At the beginning of the season, it became very clear that the two upper turf fields at Maple Grange have outlived their lifespan. It was unexpected, and we weren't really sure who to blame. Not that at this point it even makes sense to blame anyone. Nonetheless, Harry and Michelle and our town came through in just enough time to repair the fields, to be able to give our kids the opportunity to complete their season and to compete throughout the year. And I want to thank you guys for that opportunity. Thank you. Maple Grange definitely includes fields, yes, but it's a park that's much more than that. Maple Grange is a place where folks come to socialize, stay active, and get in touch with nature. Maple Grange is one of the few places in Vernon that truly show on any given night, any given day, any single season, which truly shows community. And that's where most people socialize, and most of the people of Vernon are very civilized at Maple Grange. Most fields, the fields at Maple Grange are where many of our kids spend time socializing, learn to work with others, become part of a team, and define who we are as a community. Not maintaining the fields in the park would be a huge loss for our community, Maple Grange is one of the few gems that we proudly display to all towns that come up Route 23 or down 23 to see us play. It's really, anytime someone comes, and I think Coach Hamilton hit it when she was up here, when they come, they're in awe at the things that they see at Maple Grange. I've read many things on Facebook. I'm not a huge social media guy, but I have read some things on Facebook. Not one that people could say or give a good argument of why we shouldn't do these or redo the fields and make them pristine. There's not one thing. A lot of the things that you hear is, well, I don't use that. I don't use that. And that's what people say. And I don't use that. What does that really mean? Well, I don't really use the senior center. But I still think we need one, that's for sure. I don't do drugs, but I definitely think that there's reasons for preventative programs. And one day I won't have kids in school. It's going to be a sad day, by the way, but I won't have kids in school. But I won't begrudge another family for getting the best education possible for any of their kids. This right here is what community is all about. It isn't always about what we need to have. It is also about what we need to make us a much better community. The people here tonight want the council to know that while they may not be the loudest voices in the room or the ones that are constantly in your faces about things, they do represent, and we all represent Vernon. These are the kids of our future. We deserve to get the best for them. I also want the folks on the council to understand, while we are not the loudest, together as a unit, we are a strong group of voters. So when you make decisions tonight, please consider the faces you see here tonight and many that rely on these fields, and our families rely on these fields as well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that have any comments? Please step forward.
It's impromptu for me, but my name is Brett Luthner. Many might recognize my voice as the radio and television broadcaster for the Sussex County Miners. But I'm here today on behalf of my family and on behalf of all of Vernon Recreation programs because I know my son's had several games washed out because of field conditions this year, and I know that what was recently just agreed on, the amendments, we are thankful for. But really, to continue to support all of these programs, because at Skyland Stadium, which I'm there on a nightly basis, I'm with the Miners on a nightly basis, I see Vernon lacrosse, I see Vernon soccer, I see Vernon baseball, I see Vernon everything, proudly supported at Skyline Stadium to watch the Sussex County Miners play. And as a Vernon resident for the last 10 years, and my wife and I moved here, and we researched where we were going to move, and this was the only town we thought about moving to see that pride come out at the stadium, and I'll see it again, I believe, on June 1st when the Little League program has a Little League night at Skyland Stadium. It is something that truly makes me proud to be a Vernon resident. And so I again support anything we can do to help the recreation programs to improve these fields that they all do need after it's supposed to be 10 years for a turf field to be replaced, and they're on 14, I believe. And so anything we can do to help them would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
My name's Paul Negrin. I'm the small business owner in town. I'm also on the Little League board. I've been for over 10 years. I think helping the fields, as you know, everybody's wearing a uniform in this place, probably ordered from my store. Kids are a big part of this town. Recreational sports is a very big part of this town. Friday night, last couple of years, I get a lot of people that come in buying hoodies for their football games, buying mom shirts for their baseball games and soccer games. It supports me. Also supports Smokies, the tracks. They get their food before their games. So these fields at Maple Grange, these ballparks at the flats, they support other businesses other than just mine and help support the town. Closing these fields, not a good thing. Not for the small business owner. I live in town, pay taxes in town, two businesses, and homeowners taxes. So yes, I'm a taxpayer too. I know most of these kids that are in this place, so they all know me. I help volunteer on a lot of different things in this town. So just ask you guys to reconsider, maybe working on Maple Grange Fields, very important for our town and also for our local business, small business owners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Zoe Heath. I live off Breakneck Road. I haven't had the privilege to be able to play on Maple Grange Fields, but I have been able to see kids get excited about going to their older brother's game or going to a game tonight, or even when I was in middle school, the kickoff dances. Do they still do those? Because those were awesome. And while I never played sports, when I tried, I ran away from the ball and picked flowers. I do see the value of the children in our community. And while I'm sure the council sees that, it would be detrimental to close these fields. While we talk about keeping our head above water and remaining a strong town in this area, we can't be a town anymore if our children don't come back and want to live here and raise their kids here. And without those fields, I don't think that'll happen. So please, I urge you to keep these fields open, because without these kids, it's not going to be a Vernon, no matter our financial situation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marty Puzio. I live up in Highland Lakes. I've been up there for 30 years. I have 3 children that are grown. They were born when we lived here. They've gone through all the sports programs in Vernon. They're going to go, but these fields, they're not going to directly impact my family anymore. But I do remember the thrill they had when they were made. They were playing soccer, and I watched countless games and practices on the back 2 fields, the 2 that are in the most need of repair. And I remember how excited they were when the fields were going to be made, and like other people had said, the reaction from other people in town at the field from out of town. They would come here to watch the games. So while I know it's not going to really have an impact on me, the point I'm here to make is that if you're going to charge me an extra few dollars per month, per year, I'll gladly pay that, because I know what it means to all these kids here, and I know how important it is.
Good evening. My name is Heather LeBance, and tonight I'm reading a letter from my daughter, Madeline LeBance. She's at the senior prom. She wanted to be here, but that's something that she also wanted to be at. Maddie is a senior, and in the fall she'll be attending college to play Division I soccer and be a biology major on scholarship. And this is what she wanted to say to everybody. Hello, my name is Madeline LeBance, and I'm honored to be able to write this letter to advocate for this important cause. I've been playing soccer my entire life. I started my soccer career on the Vernon in-town teams, but my first big step was joining the Vernon youth travel team, Blue Lightning. This team made my love for the game increase exponentially. I met some of my lifelong friends on this team. Playing at Maple Grange was a great asset in my development as a player. The turf fields provided consistent, fast training that helped to develop me into the player that I am today. I've played on many grass fields, but never a good one. Grass fields are lumpy, slow, and very difficult to maintain. These type of fields may look nice, but cause injuries due to their poor quality. It costs a lot of money and daily maintenance to keep grass fields safe and playable. Having the opportunity to play on these beautiful turf fields allowed me to train every day in any weather. They never have to be closed due to maintenance or unplayable conditions. I know there's a lot to consider, but I hope that you will recognize the importance and value of this facility. I feel that these fields are the beating heart of our great town. They bridge the youth and the seniors together. My Oopie walks on the paths that go around these fields and thoroughly enjoys watching all the sports teams hard at work. My little sister Annika, who is here tonight, plays on the turf softball fields. She watched 2 Vernon Township High School state tournament softball games these past weeks. The girls were playing on these turf fields because the high school fields were unplayable due to field conditions caused by the weather. Thank you so much for your time and your consideration.
Tony Chili. I had something written, but Jen and everyone, Marty, took some things I was going to say. I have older children that played with Marty's children, and they never got to experience Maple Grange. When my son was playing baseball, the big buzz was Maple Grange is coming, it's going to be great. It was electric, everyone thought it was a great idea. Now, I'm honestly can't even believe I'm up here trying to get votes to maintain it. Jean, you're a realtor, right? You have to spend money to make money. No one is coming to this town. There's nothing in this town besides our sports.
You don't need to make this personal.
I'm not, I'm just.
Everybody understands this.
Right, but you know, you need to make money, you need to spend money to make money. To raise our property values, we need stuff in this town. And honestly, my opinion is, if you or anyone else can't see this is the heart of our town, this is what makes our town vibrant, I don't think you belong. Anyone who votes no belongs up here in November. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kara Davies. I've had the privilege of playing at Maple Grange Parks. I played softball, I played soccer, I now play lacrosse. I've been doing lacrosse since 3rd grade, and I'm going up to the high school next year. But without Maple Grange, I wouldn't have, I want to say, success in life. Always being stressed with school, I would always go to Maple Grange, hang out with my friends, play lacrosse, and get relaxed. We always go to Maple Grange to play, even though the fields may not be in the best condition. We want them to be in the best condition for everyone that is going to play sports as they grow up, so they do have the privilege of playing sports.
My name is Caitlin White. I'm a lacrosse player at Vernon, and this is my sister's note. She couldn't be here, she's working, but this is what she wrote. My name is Brianna White, and my adventure started in Vernon Township at the Maple Grange Fields. I was in 5th grade when I tried the sport of lacrosse, and I never heard of lacrosse or picked up a stick before. I decided to go out with some friends and try this new sport. Little did I know that this was the start of my whole career. I now attend Lock Haven University in Pennsylvania, and I play Division II lacrosse for the NCAA and PSAC conference. I started my career at the field of Maple Grange. Along with some other pretty amazing people from alumni of Vernon Township High School, I poured my heart and soul onto that field for countless hours of practice and games. I created some amazing friendships and made them some amazing memories at Maple Grange. Contributing to my love for the sport at high school level, we still played our games and practiced at Maple Grange. I'm sure I can speak for many athletes of Vernon Township when I say Maple Grange was a catalyst who we've become as young adults. For me, it was not only the start of my career, but it was my motivation when I needed it the most. The feeling of playing under the lights is like no other feeling I can explain. For those of you who cannot relate, I am sorry. It was this exact feeling that got me through it. Traumatic experience during my junior year of high school. I cut 3 of my fingers on my right hand down to the bone and 3 tendons and nerves and arteries. Not only did this hinder my lacrosse career, but I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to keep my fingers at all. If this weren't for my family and friends and my coaches and teammates and the members of my community that gave me support, I would not have been able to go through that adventure successfully. It was my love and the sport and motivation that I gained by playing the sport. My main goal and nearly the only reason I got through this was because I knew that I needed to play lacrosse. It has been my dream since I stepped on that foot of Maple Grange fields, and I was not able to use that dream. Sometimes I lost faith, but my team helped me remember my strength. I knew I had to get back on those lights. I now have all 10 fingers, and I am successfully playing at the collegiate level. As a Vernon alumni, I can proudly say that I am successful because of something that this town has given me. This town needs a place for children to start their own adventures. for some of them that this place would be Maple Grange. I believe Maple Grange is not one of the biggest hearts of this town, and I believe it or not. It has started many of our careers and it has engaged in so many memories, especially with today's technology taking over and consuming many of our children's time. Maple Grange fields get us outside and away from technology. Maple Grange has expanded the minds of our children and has been a huge part in this community. My story is only one. I am lucky enough to be part of this generation and that took advantage of these fields. And I can proudly say that Vernon has given that to me. I was young when I first stepped foot on these fields. Clueless and unaware of this was the start of my something amazing. I continue to come back and use these fields. And I know that many other alumni continue to go back and use those fields. Not only has lacrosse made me who I am today, but it played a crucial part in saving my hands in the end. For those of you that do not have children that play sports or go to Maple Grange, please consider the children like myself that will start their careers and find themselves on these fields. Please take part in our community's youth in their futures. Maple Grange was the very start for me, and I truly, wholeheartedly believe that it was a start for many others, and it can for other children too. Thank you for your time, and thank you to those that took part in the career in my success. Hi, my name is Amanda Witters. I love Maple Grange and I met many of my friends there and I got to know them better there. I play all of my sports year-round there, no matter the weather. I am only 11 years old, and I cannot imagine what I could do without Maple Grange in the rest of my life. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cora Brennan. This is Sammy Kulik. We both play on the girls' 7th grade lacrosse team, and every week we go to Maple Grange and we practice and we try our best. Going from girls who with their first year playing to girls who've been playing for 5 years, everyone is encouraged and everybody tries their hardest to play for our team and play as a team. And we all care for each other, and it would be very upsetting to lose Maple Grange Field because it's been our home for multiple seasons or even just one season. And going from, like, say in one practice, for example, we went and it was pouring rain, and everybody, we put our stuff down under the bleachers, and we went out there and we played in the pouring rain, and no one complained, no one said anything. And we all try our best to improve and help our other teammates during the games and practices and off the field as well.
Is there anyone else from the public that?
I'd like to address the council as a resident of the town and taxpayer and a business owner in the town. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. As many know, I've coached football, baseball, lacrosse for almost 40 years. I played football and baseball on dirt and grass fields, stickball and touch football on the street as a kid. Injuries, including concussions, were common. Today we know more about the severity of what once was thought to be a minor injury. Safety is always the first consideration with my athletes and what all coaches consider. Artificial turf fields see considerably more use than natural grass fields, with some reports indicating some fields see 10 times as much use as a natural grass field. Although there are less kids in town, there are more sports programs due to multiple seasons and less cancellations due to weather. Back in the early 90s, Vernon did not have lacrosse, nor did spring soccer and fall baseball have the participation numbers that they have today. A report compiled by the Concussion Legacy Foundation called attention to the link between head injuries and poorly maintained fields, especially the growing number of those made of synthetic turf. Contact with the playing surface may account for between 350,000 and 817,000 concussions per year in the United States. With regard to concussion, the protective characteristics of an artificial turf field have been found to degrade as the field sees more use. Mad Dog Lacrosse is owned and operated by Sherry and me. We have rented Vernon Field since 1998. Over the last 5 years, the township has collected $61,000 in rental fees. Mad Dog paid approximately $39,000 of these fees, and we are happy to do so. During the 8 evenings when Mad Dog rents the fields, approximately 200 players and fans attend our program each night. Most live outside of Vernon. They patronize Smokies, the George Inn, Burger King, Taco Bell, Dunkin' Donuts, Dairy Swirl, and Dairy Queen after their games. And I hear the debate who has better ice cream or better burgers almost on a nightly basis. This year we will conduct our league in 2 other communities due to the field conditions. The township and our local businesses will lose revenue, but we have no choice. I support raising rental fees in our efforts to maintain and replace the turf as needed. The Township Council should pass a short-term rental ordinance to raise revenue with a percentage of the monies received to be placed in a recreation tourism trust account to alleviate some of the costs to maintain and replace our recreation assets. Maple Grange Park is not simply a recreation area. They are fields of dreams. Just this week, parents reached out to me to thank me for their collegiate son's academic and athletic success. I take it personal with my players. One was appointed to company commander at the Massachusetts Maritime and the captain of his 2020 men's lacrosse team. And the other made the dean's list and received postseason honors as a freshman in the highly competitive Empire 8 men's lacrosse conference. Their success is really the result of their parenting, their hard work, and a community willing to invest in opportunities for its residents of all ages. Athletic success opened doors for them. Their athletic journey started on our Field of Dreams. In the movie Field of Dreams, there is a dialogue between the ghost of John Kinsella and his son Ray on a baseball field that Ray built on his cornfields. John Kinsella said, or asked, "Is this heaven?" And Ray responds, "It's Iowa." John says, "I could have sworn it was heaven." Ray says, "Is there a heaven?" John says, "Oh yeah, it's a place where dreams come true. Maybe this is heaven. Please go the distance and rebuild our Field of Dreams." Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to step forward? Anybody else out there? Can they hear? Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close to public?
Motion.
I have a first and a second.
Second.
I already have it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So, I'd like to just take this time to make a couple comments. First of all, regarding the mayor's business. So, you know, because right now I do not have any children in school. I think actually Councilmember Van Tassel and Carreri do. However, I did. And I just like to ask the mayor, when you started Mad Dog Lacrosse, where'd the idea come from?
Came from you.
Came from me.
Florida, encouraged me to do it. Absolutely.
And your first
1998.
little girls team, who?
Your daughter was on it.
And there
I
were
was
3
coaching
little
your son in
girls.
football.
Right. There were 3 little girls that played, that were getting lessons on St. Francis Field.
Yes.
So if any, just for a little history lesson, not that you need it. So, you know, I myself, I'm well aware of the programs, only because, you know, having been there on the sideline from the beginning. So I can appreciate how important they are. And all I can say is now that she's grown, I put a lot less miles on my car. So one of the things that, and I just say because I did vote no on the budget, on the introduction. I will tell you that right now, as it stands, I will say that I really do not have an intention on voting for the bond ordinance introduction. You only need 3 votes for the introduction, but I will actually challenge administration right now. I mean, there are some things, there are some serious answers that the residents, other than everyone that's involved in sport, needs. Our fire departments need an answer on their plan. As much as there's no plan for the fields, I'm not quite sure our fire departments have a plan. You know, our volunteer fire departments, we must provide volunteers for fire. The equipment is all owned by our township, and it's very expensive, and it has to be kept up. We cannot just say, well, it looks shiny, so it must be good. So I challenge them to come up with a plan. I believe they're working on a plan, but I think that that's something that's important to have, because you have to balance everything out. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. It can't just be one side. You have 2 or 3 kids. You can't say, well, I can only afford to put one in a program and not the others. You figure out a way to put them all in there. So that would be the first thing. The other is, I know that there was a mention of working on some of the rental fees for Maple Grange. It would be interesting to see what they are, because I know that there was talk of raising the fees or coming up with just something monetary, because I'm not sure, I don't believe that we've really been collecting, you know, because the replacement of it, I mean, at this point, the plan that was put into effect, if it doesn't turn to permanent bonding, the plan is to repay for those 2 fields by 2028. So by 2028, we'll now be looking to start saving for the next replacement. So we're looking at in the excess of $100,000 every year. In 2 years, we're looking at the football field. So that's another $400,000. So the fields are something that are not going away. It's repetitive. It's a continual cost to the taxpayers.
Why build them first?
And I don't want to say to you, I wasn't here, but I'd like to say to you right now, with everything else that we're facing, you know, in 2005, money was plentiful, everything was happening. Everybody was just spending. Right now, we're paying for it. We're paying for all of it. But it's hard to balance everything out. I mean, the mayor goes through it daily with different things. I mean, we have, you know, the residents would prefer, like I said, to have paved roads instead of the tar and stone. You have the tar and stone, it comes up. DPW tries to sweep it, sweeper breaks down. You know, so it's something that's repetitive. And what happens is, then the kids go out on their bikes, and they're on the gravel, they slip, they fall. I mean, you know, we've been through all that. But those are the things we're facing because we can't afford to pave the roads properly. So, like I said, the plan on the fire department, an itemized list of how the rental fees would change as far as Maple Grange goes, and as far as how the fields are being utilized. I mean, it's great. I mean, I do go there. I don't go on the fields. I have no reason to. The other thing that I had, and this, of course, this has to do with, again, it has to do with emergency services, ambulance, and fire. I'd like to see a plan for a LoSAP plan, and that's the length of service awards program for our volunteer emergency services. That's something that if we instituted, it would have to go on the ballot for everyone to vote on. As you're well aware, I mean, I work across the street from the Vernon Fire Department. I see the cars when the fire whistle goes off. There's probably 3, 4 cars that I see continually during the day. We don't have the volunteers. You know, that's why, I mean, and so that's how you try to encourage. I mean, there's different types of way to encourage volunteers. Berkeley Heights just they're just working on something right now where they can maybe even come up with some kind of stipend for college students during the summer. But at least to have people out there helping. Because if we had to go to a paid fire department, we could never afford that.
Where did the rental fees go over the last 14 years?
They went into the not the rental trust, but the rec trust, correct?
So now,
No, that money, the money that's there in the rental, in the trust fund would actually go towards the down payment for the fields. So it's like 80,000 that would go towards that.
So he's saying 60,000 a year for the last 14 years, there's 80,000 left? It costs how much a year to maintain those fields? I don't believe that.
I'm not sure where in prior years where the money was,
14, though, 25 years ago, renting.
yeah.
So all these teams pay, part of our registration goes to their rental, right? So,
I'm not sure how the money gets divvied out, no. But like I said, if there's going to be some type of a fee, you know, and it's not to just raise the fee so everybody's to make it impossible, but there should be a plan. If we know that in, you know, another 10 years, we're going to be looking at the same thing, or 12 years, you know, even the maintenance of it. I'm not sure what the original plan was. I mean, that was in I guess they must have.
I don't think there was a plan, was there?
Well, as with
built
that.
these fields, we made dreams for our kids,
Mhm.
kids that weren't even born yet.
Yeah.
The people in this town, I've been in this town for 33 years. I voted yes to have these fields built. I didn't have kids then.
Yeah.
Where was our plan then? Now all of a sudden you want to have a plan?
Well,
14
at-
years, 16 years later?
At some point, you have to have a plan.
I agree.
Yeah.
A plan needs to be put in place, but why are we waiting 14 years or 16 years later to put a plan in place? The plan should have been in place when we built these fields.
I agree.
Are you
And
saying you would not approve without a plan, or
Right.
could we?
I was trying to find.
Approve this money with whatever?
Well,
and then
the second
put-
reading will not be till June 24th. The bond ordinance has 2 readings, and the second reading would not be till June 24th because there needs to be a certain amount of time in between meetings, and our first meeting in June falls too soon because, you know, today's a Thursday meeting because of the holiday. So you need to have a certain amount of time. So our like I said, the final adoption of that would not be till June 24th.
But that's only if it gets introduced tonight, right? If it's not introduced tonight, then it wouldn't need to be voted on June 24th.
If it wasn't introduced tonight, it could always be introduced at our June, I don't know, what's the second? 12th, you know, so, because regardless of whether it's introduced tonight or on June 12th, it still could not have its second reading till June 24th. What else did I have here? The other, I'm going to say something that's huge for everyone here is the Mountain Creek settlement that we're dealing with. I mean, like I said, I believe that we are close to something, but that can really make or break the town. And, you know, it's just because we do not, most of our homes, unless we live in Great Gorge, are not on sewers, we're paying for these sewers. Again, it was not something we asked for.
Has Mountain Creek offered to pay any of it since they owe so much money to the town?
We're not going to discuss publicly the settlement that's being negotiated.
Right, but and just to let you know that Mountain Creek pays their taxes and Mountain Creek pays their quarterly sewer fees. What? This has to do with an obligation that was set in stone back in 2004 when IntraWest was here. So, and now it's, you know, there's agreements that went forward. So when they filed bankruptcy, we had to fight for ourselves. So like I said, we are close to an agreement of having this, you know, resolved so we don't end up having to pay for this. You know, because the last thing any of us want to, the mayor especially, wants to tell you is that we're paying for it. So we've had to expend money on attorneys fighting this. And it's, you know, it's, I'll tell you, that keeps me up at night. It does, but I'm not sure if everyone's really aware that Vernon Township signed for that debt. So it's, like I said, it's something that I'm hoping we're close to, but it's, you know, it's going to be June, and we've been dealing with this, you know, like I said, just with this settlement.
The future of our kids have to deal with bad decisions that were made 10, 15 years ago by councilmen and councilwomen that didn't have plans in place, but now we're penalizing the kids and our future.
Well,
because of bad decisions, backhand politics that was done behind the tables and slapping up people's hands and things that now we have to pay for. I've seen what's gone on.
So bottom line, I want you to tell
what I
see their faces.
So what I did just say is that we need to have plans. I'm sure you have plans.
It's been a year.
Okay.
You've been discussing it for over a year. Michelle.
Excuse me, what have we been discussing for over a year?
What happened to the field and what's going to happen?
No, I'm not sure where you're getting that information, but that's not accurate.
Well, it should have been, because
Well,
you knew this was coming.
Okay, then maybe you can address that with administration. You can, Jeannie,
So
you
what's
can,
the plan? Tell us
Jeannie,
the
you
plan.
can address that with administration.
Tell us your plan.
I just told you what my plan was. I just said I'd like to have answers.
Fire department. That's what your plan is. You're talking about the fire department, not plan. What's the plan?
I just told you what I thought. I thought we need to have a plan from administration as to what is happening with all of these other items that we have to fund.
That's just more talk and more talk. Plan of action. We're all sitting here waiting to hear from you what the plan of action is going to be. And if our kids are going to have to figure this out.
We knew back in April that this was a problem. Maybe even before that.
In April?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, in April, but April was not.
We can go back and forth over
I
this
know.
all night. What we need to do, folks,
I agree.
listen. What this town needs to do is when plans are put in place and money is set aside, it needs to stay where it should go. Recycling center of the DPW, that money was supposed to stay in the recycling center, buy different equipment as it came along. Administration, not this one, prior ones, it happens, has taken whatever they can find and put here, put there, take there. I mean, we have a budget in front of us tonight, and I'll just use it because of the fire departments. There's no money set aside. We need 2 tanker trucks this year. There's no money set aside until 2024 in capital. It's just the fact that you've had prior councils and administration just let things go by the wayside. And what we need to do, and why you're all here, is there are 3 seats in this governing body opening up this coming November. There's a mayor and 2 council.
Well, no. We're the governing body.
You
I'm
get
just saying,
my
we're the
gist. We
governing
have a
body.
mayor and a council. There's 2 here, that. What we need is more concerned citizens and not the same recycled politicians. I can't speak for you, but that's why I ran, because I got tired of seeing the way this was. So I beg you to have people come up that care about Vernon and try to run, and hopefully we can make the changes that need to happen and stick with them. I mean, we had budget money set aside for the fields with the fees, and that has to be what happens in the future. The same way we have to stick with buying for DPW, buying for ambulance, the police vehicles, the fire apparatus, and everything else. Just as many folks, if you were here tonight for the fields, you'd probably have just as many that, like somebody said earlier, I don't have kids, I'm in school, I'm a senior, I don't use this. You know, you have to balance that whole thing with the town. I mean, we're trying to pay down debt from prior councils that just bonded everything. We're bonding for police cars we don't even own anymore. We're paying for them yet. So it's just like you at home. We have to be smarter with the money that we have in hand. So this is more talking than I've ever done in here in the last year. So let's just move forward.
And I'd like to, so this is not about saying, oh, we don't want fields for the kids, myself included. But how do you tell, and I'll say it, you know, the senior citizens, let's say that are on a fixed income. Somebody brought up seniors, they're on a fixed income. And it could put them out of their homes. So we have to be conscious of, and believe me, there's a lot of senior citizens that say, you know what, we put our kids through school here, we did this, we did that, we're happy to pay. That's fine. But then again, even senior citizens, it's the middle class, people can't afford it. A lot of our,
You're assuming people can't afford it. You are assuming. When you assume, you know what happens.
No, that-
You can't assume. You
that's-
don't know what people's incomes are. You don't know what my income is.
that's,
You don't know what my income is. Do you know what my income is?
no, we're not,
So
I'm
how can
talking
you
in
say that? How do you know
generalities.
I can't afford my taxes now? You don't know that.
You're right, I don't.
You don't, so don't assume things.
But what I'm saying to you is not everybody can, because as John Orberger explained, at every point, there's always a different group that comes in with the same information. So it's not, but, you're saying the councils before were not responsible. Well, at what point do we start to be responsible? At what point? And that's it, but we still need to have plans.
If closing the field is responsible, then this.
I'm not closing the field, and I'm not quite certain, excuse me,
As of July 1st,
Excuse me.
organized sports.
excuse me,
They will have nowhere to go in the summer.
excuse me, but what we will discuss right now is, at our last meeting, okay, I put together all of these different documents that had to do with the testing of the fields. And the fields, what happened is, we're handed test results that the fields passed. Now, is it possible that the fields can still be repaired to be used? Even our engineer said it's possible. So it doesn't necessarily mean the field has to be closed. Yes, it might waste money to be able to have to go and do the fluffing or whatever it is they're doing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be closed, because if that were the case, they'd be closed right now because they did do that repair. The other thing, we have our risk management company, but we put all this together, and actually I'll have to tell you, as a council, all of this information was not provided to us in a timely manner. It was given to us in piecemeal. And it's a lot of money to be spending on anything. And when everything is coming to those amounts of money, you really have to look at it and say, at what point do we have to say, I need to know what I'm voting on? But I have the documents. Anybody that'd like to take a look at them, I'll be more than happy to show them to you. I'll make copies for you. But this is what we're dealing with. And we're dealing with test results that said the field's passed. Now,
Okay, so if the field's passed and we can repair them, what's the plan in place for 10 years from now when we're having this conversation again for different kids?
well, but that's a good point.
You talk about the other councils not having a plan, well, what's the plan now?
But that's what I just was talking about, having a plan, because in 10 years, in 2028, when these two fields are paid off, anticipating that we don't put it into permanent financing, we'll have to be refinancing, we'll have to be borrowing again. That's my whole point. My whole point is that we're never getting out of this cycle. It's a repetition. We're never getting out of this cycle.
But do you have a plan to get out of the cycle?
We're not the ones, we're not the ones that come up with the plan. That's what I'm saying is, but we need a plan. I'm saying we need a plan.
Gene, if I'm not mistaken,
Where are you?
council quite a few years, right?
This is my sixth year.
So in the 6 years you've been on, you're just now coming up with starting to plan.
No, that plan comes from administration, so you may address that with the mayor should you choose to. That plan comes from the mayor, so you can address it with the mayor. And prior to that, the mayor was Vic Morata, and you could have addressed it with him at that time also.
So bottom line is you're not introducing this tonight.
No, I did not say that. What I said was, you need 3 votes for introduction.
Can we get to that now?
Let's go.
Sure we can.
Let's 3 votes. Let's vote.
And what I wanted everyone to know is the second reading would be on June 24th.
Which is 1 week before you close the field.
Isn't
You
it?
said July 1st, the
Which-
field would be closed if you choose to close the field.
But the point is, it can't be voted until then anyway. I got a phone call today at 3 p.m. that the state just approved our budget today. Well,
If they fix the fields, they're gonna have to close them anyway to fix them, so.
Can we just
Yeah, we-
move the meeting along?
Household would be able to respond with food.
It just makes sense.
What would the cost be to?
that would be next year.
What would the cost be per
I'm not sure what the household fee would be, but that would be in next year's. But you can answer it at another time.
Can you answer that, please?
No,
Your question would be, how much is it for the entire bond ordinance or just the fields?
the entire, and then we can.
Why is she talking? We can, but I'm just wondering why.
Can we go to that ordinance?
Sure we can.
I'll pay that, my neighbors and
Yeah.
like 5 houses.
Let's just move the meeting along instead of debating this all night.
So,
Does she really think that that was, she's gonna pay for that.
I'm sorry.
No, actually, what needs to be explained is that's if it stays with the band. That's if a future administration does not take it and turn it into permanent bonding.
Oh, we're not gonna allow that.
No.
Don't worry about that.
I would, you know what I would love to, is that if you could go actually to a Board of Ed meeting, to have them help keep our taxes down. I'm just saying.
Can we,
Oh, no, I'm not passing it on. I'm not passing.
can we move this meeting?
Harry would like to.
Go ahead.
What is it that you wanted to explain? Actually, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Harry, we're going to move on to the meeting. Yeah, it does. I'm sorry, we're just, I'm not, who's talking? I'm not even sure, where you are.
I know you're concerned about the senior citizens who can't pay their taxes and all these other empty houses. So tell me, if the park closes, how do you expect new people to want to come here and young people to want to come here and raise their families?
But right now, the park will close, because even if they go to fix it, even if they go to replace it, the park will be closed. Even if our bond, but the whole point is, and as I explained in the beginning, I'm trying to hold administration to give us some information on other items that need, other plans that need to happen. Because as you said, there's no plan. Well, we need to also know what those other plans are. And I said, if we get those plans, and that's what I asked, yes, it did include the fire department, because we are responsible for that. But if we have a plan by June 24th on some of those items that I asked for, I'll gladly vote for this. But we can't just turn our backs on all the other things that need to be done in this town, because we're...
Nobody asked you to do that. Nobody said don't fund the fire department. Nobody said don't fund the police. Nobody said that.
No, but we don't have a plan, so now all I'm asking is for a plan. So anyway,
we're waiting for you to form the plan for 6 years, apparently.
No, that's not, I'm sorry, that's not how this works.
Somebody should be doing something.
Who's
Can-
doing anything then? You all
You
just
still
sitting
wants
there on your high horse like you know what's going on.
I won't.
Can we, Harry would like
No.
to say something, no? Okay, then let's move the meeting along.
Let's
go.
Okay.
So we're going to move on. Next, we have our meeting minutes. May I have a motion to adopt the following minutes? Executive session of April 22nd, 2019, our regular meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2019, and then our regular meeting minutes of May 13th,
Motion.
2000. May I have a second? You have to? Okay, so you can vote on all and then just abstain on the 13th. Roll call?
You need a second.
Councilmember, yeah, make a
Yeah,
second.
I'll make the second.
Carreri,
Yes.
Van Tassel,
Yes, I abstain from May 13th.
Councilmember Auberger,
Yes.
Council President Murphy.
Yes. Okay. What we'll do is the council agrees, we'll skip over the items for discussion and we'll move on. We'll just do that at the end.
Yes.
First, we have the adoption of the 2019 municipal budget. Well, I'm just going
Okay.
to what we're going to do is vote on the resolution 19-130. We just have to move some things out of order here.
Here it is.
Thanks. And this resolution also adds in the, for the field, right?
Yep.
Right. So this resolution, 19130, is to amend the introduced capital budget. This removes the band shell out of the capital budget, and then it also moves the money from finance, salaries and wages, to the...
Well, the motion, we already passed that motion. On
We
the,
did that?
Yeah, we did
So-
that already.
Okay, so that's included in this, but that's what I
Yes.
wanted to know.
No,
So it's-
actually, the next motion to amend the introduced budget that addresses salary and wages, that will need to be adjusted by the $15,000 that was previously approved to move over for the fields.
We also have to do the amendment moving the $2,000 from finance S&W to debt service. We have both hearings, questions and votes on both of those. And then tomorrow I will bring up the amended budget. which
Okay.
includes that $15,000.
All right, thank you.
So we have resolution 19130 and 19135.
Correct.
Right? And what we'd like to do now is open that to the public. If anyone has any comments, may I have a motion to open it to the public?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If anyone has any comments on the two resolutions, 19130 and 19135, please step forward. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt resolutions 19130 and 19135?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Carreri?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Auberger?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. Next, we move on to the resolution for the 2019 municipal budget as amended by resolution 19110, adoption. May I have a motion to adopt the municipal budget that was, what is this?
That has been amended.
Yes,
and-
that has been amended, yes.
By the council.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Carreri?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Auberger?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes,
Budget is adopted.
the budget's adopted.
We don't have to do 134.
And then we don't have to do the emergency or temporary appropriation, we do not have to do.
So now we're on to the consent agenda.
Yes. The consent agenda will be,
Is anything going to be removed?
we will be.
I believe Councilmember Carreri wants to read 133.
Yes, so
And
we'll-
130 into the record.
Just 133.
Okay.
Right. So, Resolution 19125, this bill sponsored by Senator Oraho indicates the township will not be participating in the rain tax. Resolution 19126, the township has been using the service of Phoenix for financial planning. This renews the contract. Resolution 19127, township has made a determination regarding the lift stations. This memorializes that issue. Resolution 19128, this refunds a duplicate payment. Resolution 19129, this authorizes the annual county contribution to the Glenwood Pochuck Ambulance Squad. Resolution 19131, the township bid its payroll services. This awards the contract to Action Data Services, the township's current vendor. Resolution 19132, this awards the contract for the police traffic messaging trailer. May I have a motion to adopt resolutions 19125 through 19129 and 19131 through 19132?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Carreri?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Auberger?
Yes, but I abstain on 129.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Consent agenda passes.
All right, now we have Resolution 19133. This resolution is requesting the resignation of Catherine McCabe as Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. What I'd also like to do is I'd like to add Mike Hastry, and I'd like to add Kerry Flew to this resolution. And I'd like to make a motion for that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Hang on one second.
So this is to amend it.
Yeah, this is the motion to amend the resolution. Councilmember Carreri?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Auberger?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes. Now, Resolution 133 will be read in full, and Councilmember Carreri will have the pleasure of reading that. And feel free to add those names when you read it.
Thank you. Resolution 19-133, resolution requesting the resignation of Catherine R. McCabe as Commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, as well as Mike Hastry
And Carrie Flew.
Carrie Flew. Whereas the property located at 3 Silver Spruce Drive, Vernon, New Jersey, property was subject to an August 14, 2014 stop work order by the Sussex County Soil Conservation District in connection with a soil disturbance in excess of 5,000 square feet in violation of the New Jersey Soil Erosion and Sediment Control Act, NJSA 424-39. And whereas on July 16, 2014, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, NJDEP, also received a complaint that the property received several hundreds of truckloads of soil for disposal in violation of NJAC 726-2.8, which prohibits the operation of a solid waste facility without a solid waste facility permit. And whereas on July 23, 2014 and August 8, 2014, a representative from the NJDEP conducted a compliance evaluation at the property. Based on the observations of the representatives, the NJDEP issued Wallace a warning letter dated January 14, 2015, indicating that the property may not be in compliance with the Solid Waste Management Act. And whereas during the calendar years 2017 and 2018, the Township of Vernon became aware of large-scale dumping of soil and other materials at the property, the Township was greatly concerned about the environmental impact of the materials being dumped and potential violations of local, state, and federal environmental laws. And whereas while the NJDEP inspected the site on several occasions between 2017 and 2018, no action was taken to stop the dumping or to obtain information required from the property owner concerning the materials being dumped on the property. And whereas on September 4th, 2018, the Sussex County Soil Conservation District issued a second stop work order to attempt to stop unauthorized dumping at the property. And whereas the township, citizens of the township, and other federal elected officials continue to make requests to the NJDEP to address the dumping at the property and expressed concerns about the potential negative environmental impact of the dumping at the property. And whereas despite 2 years of complaints and requests for aid, the NJDEP did not seek to address potential violations of state environmental laws at the property until March 1st, 2019, when a complaint and order to show cause was filed by the NJDEP alleging violations of the Solid Waste Management Act and seeking to conduct testing at the property. And whereas on March 14th, 2019, representatives from the NJDEP took samples from 8 different locations at the property, whereas by letter dated April 8, 2019, legal counsel for the NJDEP notified the New Jersey Superior Court that the laboratory results analyzing the samples taken on March 14, 2019, revealed concentrations of semi-volatile organics such as benzopyrene and benzoethrance, a pesticide, chlordane, and PCB R-color 1254. Above residential standards provided in state environmental regulations. Legal counsel for the NJDEP further informed the court that because of the exceedances of the residential standards, the fill pile contains materials that are considered to be solid waste. Accordingly, because solid waste is imported and stored on the property, it is an unlicensed solid waste facility in violation of NJAC 726-2.8, and whereas, as a result of the NJDEP's failure to act, there is a greater risk of contamination and environmental degradation of the property. Whereas, based on the NJDEP's failure to fulfill its mission, the township requests that Catherine R. McCabe resign as Commissioner of the NJDEP. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Township of Vernon requests and supports the resignation of Catherine R. McCabe as Commissioner of the NJDEP and Mike Hastry and Carrie Flew. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to all municipalities in Sussex County, the representatives in the 24th Legislative District, Governor Philip Murphy, Senator Steve Sweeney, Speaker Craig Coughlin, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, the Star Ledger, the NJ Herald, and the NJDEP.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 19-133? May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Carreri?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Robert?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, we'll move on to the introduction, first reading of proposed ordinance, Ordinance 1910. Bond ordinance appropriating $2,038,668 and authorizing the issuance of $1,549,527 in bonds or notes of the Township of Vernon. May I have a motion to introduce Ordinance 1910, with a public hearing to be held on June 24th, 2019.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
This, by the way, includes the turf field. Roll call?
Councilmember Carreri?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Tassel?
Yes.
Councilmember Auberger?
Yes.
Council President?
I'll make a deal with the mayor. I'll vote yes, but I'd like to have a plan on some of the issues that I've requested.
Plans are already being worked on. The fire chiefs are working on it.
I understand that, but the thing is that they get left undone. I'm not saying by the fire chiefs, I'm just saying is at some point, other things come up with everyone, and the ball gets dropped.
We've been trying to make this plan for 3 years. I tried to hire an independent company to do it. You said no. I tried to go with Randy Mills, former chief of police, our fire marshal, myself, and the BA,
All
who's
I-
the former chief of
no,
police.
no,
You
not
guys
at this
said
time.
no. The fire chiefs are now doing it,
Right.
and that's where we're gonna lay it.
Right, but,
It'll be on them.
and also the pressure has to be put on the fire chiefs too. It's not
I
one,
put pressure.
one part.
They
No,
just
no,
need
no.
to give us a plan.
Well, but all I'm saying is that, and also if we could have a plan as far as with the recreation, on how the money will be,
We have a capital plan. You didn't want to hear it.
no, that's not what I said. What I'm talking about is having where the money is as far as the fees, because there's been talk of raising the fees and coming up with that.
The council
So
can
anyway.
legislate an ordinance, and I'll sign it. Go ahead.
If a commitment is made
Excuse me.
by the town for the field, not worried about the fire department, but a commitment is made by somebody, and I'll do it if I have to, that we will present a plan by June 24th for just the field. I don't know anything about the fire department or anybody else that needs money in the town. I can't deal with that, but if we're voting on the fields, can we
Well-
keep it just about the fields?
But administration has to
Well, with the
provide.
administration,
Right.
exactly, but a commitment can be made to present to you before you vote on the 24th for a plan for the field money. I can't bring in everybody else's crap.
Anyway, go ahead.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
The motion passes. The bond ordinance has been introduced. It will be, a second reading will be held on June 24th, at which time, if it receives 4 votes, just so the public's aware, the bond ordinance requires 4 votes to be approved. If it receives 4 votes, the bonds will be issued.
And that meeting is on a Monday at 7 PM. If you'd like, would you like us to take a short recess? So if you would like to leave, okay, motion for recess.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Come back on the 24th, bring people